Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are trying some new products. I have a bunch of new exciting things. I have the new m.ph foundation, I have the Creal Corrector, and I just earlier today got the Patrick Ta concealers, so we're going to be trying those today and a few more things as well. I actually filmed this video already a few days ago, and long story, but there were issues with the footage, so we are filming it again. But the good news is I now have the Patrick Ta concealer in my hands, so we can try this today. And the other good news is now I can kind of give you thoughts on the other products that I've tried already. So that is what we're going to be doing today. And if you are new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. But let's just get right into the makeup. All right, let's get into the makeup. I just did my SPF. It's been like 10 minutes now, but I used the Beauty of Josie and the Day Dew. So like I said, I did film this video a few days ago and there were just lots of issues with the footage, so it's not usable. So we're gonna film it again today, but I have tried all of these products with the exception of the Patrick Ta concealer. So let's go in with the foundation. So this is new from m.ph. This is the Le Skin Weightless Serum Foundation. I have the shade 30N. So this retails for $49. It comes in 35 shades and it does have a medium coverage and it's supposed to be more of a natural finish foundation. I have some thoughts on that, but we'll get to that in a minute. It does also have hyaluronic acid and niacinamide in the formula. It seems like every new base product now has niacinamide in it, which I would love to know why they're choosing niacinamide of all skincare ingredients they could include, because niacinamide, like, it works great for my skin, but I know niacinamide doesn't work for a lot of people. So I would love to know why these makeup brands are all adding niacinamide to everything. But let's go in with this foundation. Now, I do think the shade 30N is a really good shade match for me. So I was very, very happy about that. I will say that like I said, I wore this a few days ago and I liked it when I applied it. By the end of the day, I wasn't sure if I loved the wear on it. But again, that was just first impression. We will see what I think today. She did launch a foundation brush with this foundation. It looks like a powder brush with longer bristles. I did not buy the brush because I know just based on looking at it that that's not the type of brush that I like personally for foundation. So I didn't pick that up, but she did launch that as well. And okay, so it blends in beautifully. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it matches my skin perfectly. Now, this foundation is, I think, intended to be used with underpainting. Underpainting, as you probably know, is kind of her signature technique for applying makeup. Obviously, I'm not underpainting today because we're applying this first. I'm not a huge fan of underpainting for myself, but I do know that's probably what this was intended to be used for with her face palette. But I'm not going to use this today. I have some other cheek products that I want to show you first, and I'll probably use the face palette from m.ph with this in a short or a reel or something. Okay, so this was about one pump, by the way, on the back of my hand, and I'm going in a little bit more on this side and just tapping it in. And I am personally using the BK Beauty 115 brush so I can get a little bit more coverage from this foundation. Initial thoughts on this. I personally found when I applied it the first time, and I still feel the same way, they say it's a natural finish. I think it leans more radiant than a true natural finish. Now, it's not the most glowy foundation that I've ever seen by any means, but it definitely has some glow to it. So I don't know that I would say it's a true natural finish. I would say it leans more radiant. It's not like oily glowy, like overly dewy. There's no shimmer or anything like that in the formula, but it definitely leans more glowy in my opinion. If you can see, I mean, you can probably see the glow on my skin. And this has been on my face for like 5 minutes now. I do think it's pretty. It does remind me of the new Armani Luminous Silk though. So even the texture of it reminds me of Armani Luminous Silk, the new formula. Obviously they both have niacinamide. So if you didn't like the new Armani, I'm guessing you probably wouldn't like this one. For me personally, I love the new Armani. And the thing that I noticed most when I applied that as opposed to this a few days ago is the Armani wore much better on me throughout the day than this. When I looked at this later in the day, I did feel like it looked a little bit heavy on my skin, and it's not like a full coverage foundation, it's a true medium, but I did feel like I could kind of see it sitting on my skin. And even in areas like, I don't tend to notice a lot of creasing in my foundation. I'm 33, I have some fine lines, but I don't have anything yet that causes like significant creasing. But I even noticed I had a little bit of like creasing by the sides of my mouth and even like on my chin right here. I did notice that by the end of the day. It is called a serum foundation. So usually serum foundations are more skincare based and they typically do have more glow. So I think, you know, the fact that it's called serum kind of makes me think that as well, that it's not a true natural finish. That's just my opinion. My skin is normal. It's not really dry or oily. And I personally think it leans a little bit glowy. So those are my initial thoughts. I do think like right now, I think it looks great on my skin. True medium coverage. I like the shade. It just has a good bit of radiance to it. But let's move into the Creal Face Flex Instant Under Eye Brightener. So I know we have the Patrick Ta concealer. Some people get mad at me if I put a corrector with a new concealer, but that's how I wear makeup. So I'm gonna test these things in the way that I wear products. So that's what we're gonna do. But let's talk about this for a second. So this is brand new from Creal. I've gotten probably the most questions about this product that I have anything else in a long time. So I love the Creal Face Flex Concealer. That's like in my top 3 concealers in my collection right now. So I was so excited to see this. This is shade number 2 in Power Nap. And I have actually worn this quite a bit. I've worn this more than just once. So I do have some thoughts on this. So that is shade Power Nap right there. This is the second to lightest shade. And this is, I would say, kind of a mix of the Cali Ray Hideaway Corrector and the Kosas Revealer Corrector in terms of the coverage and really in the consistency. The Cali Ray is more watery than this one. The Kosas is thicker and creamier than this one. This one kind of falls right in between, and the coverage kind of falls right in between. It kind of combines 2 of my favorites, which are the Kosas and the Cali Ray. It's really heavy, nice packaging. It's glass, so it feels very luxurious. This is a pretty expensive product, but I gotta say, I really do like it. And I've probably worn this like 6 or 7 times now because I've had this one for a little while, but I'm gonna apply this and show you. I also like this shade for myself because it's actually one that I can wear on its own. If I didn't want to put concealer on top of this, I could absolutely wear this by itself because the tone and just the overall undertone works well and blends pretty seamlessly into my skin tone, which I like. That versatility. Sometimes, you know, if I'm just throwing something on my face really quick, I don't want to have to layer concealer over the top unless I just want to or I have the time to. I'm gonna blend that in with the A506 from BK Beauty, and you'll see that it just instantly helps that blue and purple that we have under the eyes. And I could wear it alone. It blends really nicely into the rest of my skin. So there it is on that side. Now, as I said, it's more of a medium coverage, and this is a lighter correcting shade. There's a fine line with correctors. You don't want to have one that's too light, like I always tell you, because your darkness most likely will just show right through. It will look worse than it would if you just left your under eyes bare. If you go darker, that will help correct more, but then you also have to you have to put something on top to cover the darker corrector underneath. This one is nice because it kind of falls right in that perfect spot in terms of the undertone and the depth of the shade that I can wear it on its own. But that's something that's really tricky about color correctors, is you have to get the shade exactly right. Otherwise, it's not gonna do what you want it to do, and it's kind of just like a wasted step in your routine, and it's kind of like layering more product on your face that's not even achieving what you're trying to achieve. You know what I mean? This is not like full correction, like I said, but it did a really great job of neutralizing that darkness that I have. And I really like this formula. It's very thin, but it has quite a bit of pigment. It's not as watery. If you've tried the Cali Ray formula, speaking of that, let me just grab the Cali Ray. All right, so this is the Cali Ray formula. Hopefully if I swatch this for you, you can kind of tell. These two colors are also somewhat similar. All right, so we've got Cali Ray down here. This is the shade Radiant. Do you see how watery and fluid that texture is? This one is also thin, like I said, but it has more tackiness to it and just a little bit more of like a grippy, a bit thicker texture. This one down here is just more fluid. They are very similar though, but you do get more coverage with the Sarah Creal. You get even more coverage with the Kosas, but the Kosas is also creamier and thicker in the texture. So I hope that's helpful. I know a lot of you have been messaging me about this product in particular, so I hope that helps you. But you can always, if you have specific questions about correctors, you can DM me on Instagram, and I try to reply to everybody. So if you have specific questions about shades or formulas or what would work best for you, feel free to DM me there, and I'm happy to help. Okay, this is what I'm the most excited about. I cannot wait to try this Patrick Ta concealer. Y'all know I have been talking about him coming out with a concealer for a few years at this point, and I've known for a while that he was going to release a concealer because I watch his videos like a hawk. I am always watching to see what he's using, and I've seen him using this concealer component for months now, and I've just been waiting, and it's finally here. I have been waiting to get my hands on this, and I finally have it. Now, I ordered mine from Sephora, and I ordered 3 shades because I didn't want to get the shade wrong, and I couldn't see them in person, and I wanted to make sure I got it right. However, Sephora sent me 2 of the same shade. So one of my shades I did not get, unfortunately. I only got 2 of them. They did, however, I will say, I contacted them on the app, and they shipped me out the one that they missed sending me right away. So props to Sephora for that customer service. They didn't even question me at all, so that's great. But I am kind of disappointed because I wanted to show you all 3 shades. But we'll go with these 2 for today. So let me tell you what this is called. This is the Major Skin Soft Blur Brightening Concealer. Now, this is getting a lot of attention on mainly Instagram and TikTok. I haven't seen much about it here on YouTube yet, but I can't wait to try it. He's one of my favorites, and I'm excited about this. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's beautiful packaging. We do have that Patrick Ta mirrored rose gold lid here, which looks so pretty. It does kind of get gross and grimy like his other products do, but it does look pretty. And I will say the component feels pretty nice. It doesn't feel super cheap and flimsy, which I appreciate. Let's see how much product you get in here. You get 0.2 fluid ounces, $34. And this comes in 25 shades is what it looks like. So this is also supposed to be a natural finish and a medium coverage. So let me show you the shades that I do have. So I really had a hard time with this. I ordered Fair Rosy Neutral, shade 4. I ordered Light Peachy Neutral, shade 2. And then the one they didn't send me was Light Rosy 4. And I ordered that one because I thought that might be a color corrector for me, but they didn't send that one. So we won't be trying that today, but maybe I'll show you that in another video. And now I'm looking at these shades and I'm like, I feel like I could probably mix these two. Okay, so we've got fair rosy neutral right here, and then we've got light peachy neutral right here. So yeah, honestly, I'm guessing I'm probably gonna like to mix these two together. It feels like a pretty thin formula to me. It does feel like it has, or look like it has, some pigment to it. And this is also supposed to be kind of blurring and self-setting from what I understand. So that one on the bottom is rosy neutral 4, and this one on the top is light peachy neutral. I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll use light peachy neutral 2 first, and then maybe we'll add a little bit of fair rosy neutral on top. Oh, and I did also pick up the brush, which I did not need at all, but this brush looked very interesting to me. And something about me, y'all, I love makeup brushes. I love makeup, but I also love makeup brushes. I love them. And it's kind of, I mean, because it's like, how many brushes do you really need, Blair? But I couldn't help myself with this. So you don't have to buy the brush, but I bought it in case you want to see it. So this side is dense. It's like an angled, very, very dense, like dome-shaped concealer brush. And then over here, we've got a really fluffy, looks like a powder brush, but I think he recommends to like diffuse the edges of the concealer with this, and then use this to press the concealer in areas where you need more coverage. I'm also going to apply this on my face and see what kind of coverage we can get there. All right, let's start on this side. So this again is light peachy neutral 2. Keep getting the names wrong. So I've also seen he recommends that you let this concealer kind of sit before you blend it if you're wanting to get more coverage from it. If you don't, then you can blend it immediately. That's kind of what I'm seeing about it. Okay, yeah, the texture is very thin, very, very thin. We'll just do one side of my face, I guess, and see what we think. And I am gonna let this sit for probably about a minute before we blend. Let's go ahead and blend. I'm gonna use the fluffy end first in the areas where I don't really care about getting a ton of coverage. So that's like the chin, the forehead, probably even do that down here. I do kind of like this brush, I will say, just the really dense side and the really fluffy side. I like those two put together for concealer. Okay, so let's see. We'll blend this part in as well with the fluffy end. All right, and then now I'm gonna flip to the dense side and press this in. What do we think? So this is light peachy neutral number 2 on this side. Actually, that's a good shade for me. I'm glad that I went with that one. I really struggled, y'all, with the shades. And I gotta say, I kind of love this dense part of the brush, because unless you're someone that does not love a lot of coverage, you might not really utilize something like this. But if you're someone that has something on your face or your under eyes that you really want to cover, something really dense like this is kind of nice to have on hand. And then this is also nice to go around and kind of sheer things out if you want. So I do actually like the brush as well. All right, I'm gonna let this kind of sit under my eyes for a second, let it kind of settle in, and then we'll assess. All right, it's been like 3 minutes probably, and this is what it looks like. First impression, I really, really like what I'm seeing. It definitely has more of a radiance to it as of right now. It does claim to be blurring, like the name is Soft Blur. I don't know right now if I think it's blurring. I mean, it doesn't look like it's enhancing anything at this point, but I don't know that I would say it's like the most blurring thing I've ever seen. It does look nice. It looks like a great shade match too. And the coverage is pretty good, honestly. It's not, definitely not full coverage, but it's decent medium coverage with letting it kind of sit on the skin and get tacky. Let's do the other side now. The question is, do I do the same color? Because I really like that color actually, or do I do Fair Rosy Neutral on this side? I feel like Fair Rosy Neutral might be a little bit light. Let's add a little bit actually of Fair Rosy Neutral right here, just a little bit. I'm going to use that dense end of the brush again and press that into the skin. I do think the texture of this concealer really lends itself well to layering it if you really wanted to, because it is a very thin consistency. It's definitely not a thick concealer. All right, so that's just a little bit of Fair Rosy Neutral 4. It looks really good, I gotta say. All right, let's do the other side. I'm gonna do it the same way we just did this. I don't think I'm gonna like that brighter shade on its own. So we're gonna do this the same way. I was afraid this shade, the peachy shade, was gonna be too yellow, but actually blended in, it looks completely fine on my skin tone to me. All right, let's blend on this side. I'm just gonna use the fluffy side again and just kind of blend that in on my cheek right here. I need the most coverage like right here in this area, so I'm actually gonna flip to the dense side of the brush. This is another reason this is really handy, is you could flip back and forth depending on, you know, how much coverage you need in certain areas of your face, because we all have different areas that need more or less coverage. So it's kind of nice to have a brush that has 2 different ends. All right, let's move into bronzer, contour. Like I said, I do have the m.ph face palette. I'm not going to use that today because I want to show you this. This is the new Westman Face Trace Contour Stick in the shade Toast. Now, I've done a few like short videos about this that you might have seen already, but I am in love with this new color from Westman in Toast. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. This reddish, like beigey undertone, so nice. And we never get this kind of undertone from brands. They always feel like we get the same warm orange, overly bronzy looking shades. And it's just nice to get like a reddish undertone in something. I love Biscuit from Westman. I've been using that one for a long time if you want to see them side by side. So that is Biscuit and that is Toast. So you can see there's a very, very big difference there. But I've been using Toast the most as like a bronzer. So typically when I use this, I don't use another bronzer or blush with it. This is kind of an all-in-one for me. So let's apply this so you can see. I'm going to use this 116 brush from BK Beauty, and I'm gonna kind of get it off the component like this and then go on the back of my hand so I don't get too much and apply. But I'm telling you, this tone on my skin tone as like an all-in-one is so pretty. It is so pretty. Now if I had a darker skin tone, this would probably, obviously it would look different. It would look more like a contour. On me, it just kind of looks like color to the skin, but it looks so natural. It's like I've been out in the sun all day and I just got a little bit of a tan on my face. That's what this color reminds me of. So I'm just tapping a little bit of this on the skin. I'll probably use a blush as well, just because I have a lot of blushes to show you, but I mean, how pretty is this color? I love taking a little bit of it on my nose. How pretty is that? Oh my gosh. If you're around my skin tone, don't be afraid of this color. It's so nice. So like I said, typically when I've been using that one, I don't use another blush with it. But today I have new blush that I want to show you, so we're going to apply a little bit of this. This is new from Bobbi Brown. It's the new, actually the name is not on the component. I think it's the Blush Skin Enhancer, I think, and this is the shade Cheeky Pink, which is like a true warm pink. And this is very dewy, very glossy, similar to like the House Labs Color Fuse. Those are very similar to this. They are very, very glossy and dewy. This one is the same way, but the pink in this is really nice. It's a really nice, fresh pink. I think they make highlighters in this line also. I'm trying to think of what else this kind of reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of like the Mario blush veils in the compacts. This is similar to that too. All right, I just realized I do have this powder. I've had this for a few weeks. This is the new Huda powder in Cupcake, the Easy Baked pressed powder in, not Cupcake, Blair, oh my gosh, it's Pound Cake. I'm gonna use a 113 brush from BK Beauty to apply this. And I like I said, I've had this for a few weeks. I've been using it. I like this powder. I don't know that I'm like in love with it. I think it's fine. That's kind of my overall thought. It's not as impactful sometimes as I want it to be. Like, it's a little bit more of like a soft, almost like a finishing powder. It's not super mattifying to me. Now, it could also be because it's a pressed powder. Typically, pressed powders are a little bit less intense in terms of like mattification. So it could just be that, but I like it. I'm not like in love with it though. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of focus most of the powder right here because this is where I get kind of shiny and things start to wear away. I think I am going to use this under the eyes as well. That Patrick Ta concealer looks really good though. Honestly, like it hasn't really done anything weird. I'm just gonna kind of go over it one more time before I set, but it looks pretty good, honestly. I'm gonna use, I think, that same brush under the eyes and just press. I wanna say somewhere I saw that the Patrick Ta concealer is self-setting. I don't think it has really set itself personally, just based on the finish of it. So I'm gonna choose to set it with some powder. Not gonna lie, the skin looks really, really good today. So that's exciting. Let's move into brows. So I have been testing a brow pencil. This is not a new like launch or anything. I just got it recently and I've been testing it out. This is the Merit brow pencil, the Brow 1990 sheer gel pencil in the shade light brown. I've been testing this for probably like 3 weeks now and I really like this. It's a good shade for me. It's like just pigmented enough without being too much. So I'm probably gonna speed through majority of this since this is not super exciting, but I did want to show it to you because I have been liking this a lot. So I'm gonna fill in my brows and then I'll be back and we'll move into the eyes. All right, let's move on to the eyes. So I did recently get the Jones Road Eyeshadow Sticks. These are new. I got 4 shades. They sent me a few, or they're all neutrals actually. They come, I think there are 8 shades total. They're all matte and they're all neutral. And I've actually been wearing these for a few days. I've worn these quite a few times now. Let me swatch the shades that I have for you quickly. So this formula is very, very creamy. Like probably one of the most creamy shadow stick formulas that I've tried. They're easy to work with, easy to blend. They kind of have like a moussey, creamy texture. And I love the shades. The shades are right up my alley. Exactly the things that I like. So I have Cream, which is a really, really, really light, like off-white kind of shade. I have Taupe, which is my favorite. Smoky Brown, which is like a cooler gray brown. And then Dark Brown is a really rich, almost black brown. So these are very, very nice, very creamy. Like I said, I've been wearing them. I've probably worn these like 5 or 6 times now. My favorite shade is Taupe. So we're gonna use Taupe today and I'm gonna go in on my bare lid so you can see this. Okay, so you literally just draw it on. This shade is so pretty. I love the Taupe color. I'm gonna use a brush but you can definitely use your fingers with this formula. They're that creamy that you can probably use just about anything to blend it and they'll blend really seamlessly, like boom. That's all I had to do. And that is just one single cream shadow stick, I should say, and boom. Easy, one and done. I love the color. I'll use my finger over here so you can see how easy it is. So you just kind of scribble it on, take your finger, and because these are so creamy, they do just kind of spread and diffuse really nicely without very much effort at all. Love it. There is a shade in between cream and taupe. I think it's called Sand. I'm probably going to order that one myself. They did send me these, by the way. I'm probably going to order Sand myself because I really like this formula and I want that shade that's in between. One thing I will say about these is if you have oily eyelids, because these are so creamy, you're going to want to set these with something if you want them to last all day, because they are not the type of formula that really sets down and like locks in. So you do have to set these if you want them to last. So I did want to mention that because they're not like the Makeup by Mario cream shadow formula, that really matte cream to powder texture. These are not that. These are just very blendable, very creamy. You do have to set them if you want them to last. So I did want to say that. However, I love how creamy the formula is because they're just easy. Anybody could use these and make them work. So that one's definitely my favorite. The other thing I've been doing when I've been wearing these is taking smoky brown, which is that like taupey brown, like a cooler tone taupey brown. And I just scribble a little bit of that on the upper lash line. And again, you could use your finger, a brush, whatever. I'm typically a brush person, so I'm going to use a brush. And just blend it out and you have like this beautiful diffused kind of smoky eye, but not like super intense. This is kind of what I've been doing when I've been wearing them. We do have that darker shade in dark brown. That one is really, really deep for me though, so I'm not going to use that one today, but that is an option if you want a really deep, almost like black brown. See how easy that was? It took me like 2 minutes to do that and it looks so good. So good, but you do kind of have to set them. That's one thing I wanted to point out. So I also got 2 of these new shadows from Lancome. So these are the Idol Goddess Dimension eyeshadows. So I have 2 of them. I have a matte one and a metallic. I'll swatch these for you too. I do not like this packaging. It's so plastic, so cheap and flimsy looking. Sorry, Lancome. And it slides like this, which I also don't like. It just feels really, really cheap. For the price, that's gonna be a no for me. The packaging should be better than that. However, like this shade, Astral Beige, very boring to most, but it's like a perfect neutral to cool leaning matte brown that I really like. And then this one is the metallic one in Dawn Reflection, which is right there. So it doesn't have big chunks of shimmer or glitter in it. It's just like a true satin metallic shadow. Very neutral, very much Blair kind of colors. But I figured maybe we'll use this matte shadow to kind of set this a little bit. I'm just going to use this big 201 from BK Beauty. And I'm going to just go over mainly that taupe shade in the crease up here. And I'm just going to set that in place. This shadow, it's definitely like what a lot of people would probably say is like a boring matte shadow, but I love colors like that, you know? Sometimes you want just like a good one and done matte, just a little bit of color kind of shadow, you know? I think I went a little crazy on this side. highlight right here. So I'm gonna take my concealer brush. This is a great tip. If you ever like go too low or you go kind of crazy on the corners out here, take your concealer brush. You could do your foundation brush too. It's just a little bit harder if it's like a larger foundation brush, and kind of go over the edges and it will diffuse. I do that all the time if I go nuts with eyeshadow. Okay, and then of course I have that metallic one. I think I want to keep this kind of matte maybe. And then I proceed to put it on my eye. I figure why not? I took not much at all, and I'm just barely kind of pressing a little bit of that on top. Like I said, it's just like a little bit of sheen. It's not anything really shimmery or glittery. All right, what else? Oh, I did have one of these new Urban Decay eyeliners. This is the 24/7 liquid stick in the shade Brown Noise. So these are like, they're really interesting. So that's the Brown Noise. It's really deep brown. They are a pencil, but they go on like a liquid liner. I used this the other day. So I've used it once, and I guess we'll use it again today. I'm gonna do just like a tiny little wing. But they look like a liquid. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little teeny tiny baby wing with this. I will say, if you have smaller eyes or hooded eyes, the brush that it comes with is a little bit big. It's not super precise, which is really what you need if you have small or hooded eyes, or even if you just kind of struggle with liner in general. I don't love the brush on the end. I like something that's smaller than this, but it is there if you need it. So I'm just kind of going over it now and kind of smudging it out, because I want more of a diffuse kind of, not like crisp line. These Urban Decay liners, very similar to those new Maybelline contour sticks, almost to the point where I wonder if they knew they were like going to release those products at the same time. The Maybelline one was supposed to be like a less expensive version of this one because they're so similar. Do you know what I'm talking about? I have one of them. It's this right here. What is this? The contour stick. This one is tinier on the tip, which I prefer, to be honest, but it doesn't look like a liquid like this one does, but it does have a tinier brush, which I also kind of prefer, but it doesn't give you that like liquid liner, almost like wet look that you get. Crisp and precise, I guess is what I should say. All right, I'm curling my lashes, and then I'm gonna apply some mascara. You know what mascara I've really been enjoying is this new one from Urban Decay. This is the Tube Job. This is a tubing mascara, which I'm not typically a huge tubing mascara person, but this one has been working great for me, and I actually find that this one comes off really easily also. Sometimes I do find tubing mascara is kind of hard to remove. I know they just come off with water, but sometimes I feel like I have to work kind of hard to get them off, which I don't love. But this one is really nice if you like something that's really lengthening and separating. I don't think this one gives a ton of volume, but I do think it separates the lashes really well and gives a lot of length. And it comes in brown, which is also a plus. Finally, for the lips. Of course, I do have the new Summer Fridays lip liners. So I have 2 of the stains and 2 of just the lip liners. So I'll swatch the ones that I have for you. I've also worn these quite a bit already, and I have some thoughts on them, but let me get you some swatches. So we've got Almond in the lip stain, which this is my favorite. It's very neutral and kind of like a lighter, more sheer brown. Then we have Slipper, I believe. Yes, in the pink stain. That one is really pink. I thought it was going to be a little more rosy, but it's not. It's like pretty pink. I have Toffee, and then I have Sugar in the 2 lip liners. And like I said, I've worn all of them. The lip stain is really nice. I will say, I think mine kind of got messed up on the felt tip. It has like, it's kind of like splayed out right there. I don't know if you can tell. And I thought maybe it was supposed to be like that, but my pink one doesn't look like that. It looks like maybe this one, the lid didn't fit correctly and it kind of smushed it a little bit. So I don't love that, but I have worn this, and this stain is very long wearing. I feel like this is definitely going to be the most popular shade just because it's really neutral and would really go with everything. So there's Almond in the lip stain. Really nice. Now I will say, I think the Huda lip stains last a little bit longer than these. These last, but I can see in the days that I've worn it, a little bit of fading at the end of the day. They last a pretty long time. Now I'm gonna go in with the lip liner in the shade Sugar, which is like the pinky color. And okay, these, really nice formula, but these wear away pretty quick, in my opinion. So these are not a long wearing lip liner formula. Now they are longer wearing than like the Road Peptide Lip Shape, or I don't know if they're peptide, but the lip shapes from Road, those are gone instantly. These are not gone instantly, but they definitely wear away. So they're not long wearing on me, at least. So that was the shade Sugar. Honestly, I like those 2 just by themselves. And then I'll take a little bit of Toffee just for the heck of it. I think I prefer the stain over the lip liner just because they do last a bit longer, but they're all nice. I don't know that these are like the best lip product I've tried though. I mean, they're good. There's nothing super special about them, but they're nice. If you like these kinds of products, you'd probably like them. The lip liners do not wear all day though. You do have to touch them up. Let's see, what should we put on the lips with this? I really want to do my favorite lipstick right now in Naughty Talk, but I feel like I've been doing that constantly. Maybe we should do this. This is Hug Me from MAC. Oh yeah, that's nice actually. Oh, and then the other thing I've been using with these Summer Fridays lip products is their lip oil. This is the, what is this? The Dream Lip Oil in Bare Sands, which is basically just a really light nude. All right, so that is everything that we're gonna try today. I wanted to go through my thoughts on these products so far and what my like standouts are. So let's start with the m.ph Le Skin Serum Foundation. Okay, this right now looks so good on my skin, so good. And it did the other day when I used it. So I'll be curious at the end of the day today to see if I think it wore better, since I do have this paired with a different concealer than I wore the other day. I had the Charlotte Tilbury concealer on the other day and it looked good initially, but by the end of the day, I don't know, it just felt like this was kind of sitting on my skin in a weird way and creasing a bit in certain areas like I mentioned earlier. But I do think it's pretty. I do think it's more glowy. I don't know if you have oily skin if you would love this. I think this is probably going to be best for normal to dry, but I'll keep wearing it and give you more thoughts on it. But overall, I do think it's pretty. It is similar, in my opinion, though, to the new Armani foundation. So if you know you don't like that, you know you don't like niacinamide, I would probably skip this. But I do personally like it, but I like that formula too. So those are kind of my initial thoughts. I am going to leave my wear notes in the description box of this video, so make sure to check there. And I'll let you know what I think today at the end of the day. But I like this. I think it's nice. The Sarah Creal Face Flex, I love. I love the concealer though, so this is kind of a no-brainer purchase for me. This is a great formula in my opinion. If you need more than light coverage but not full coverage, this is a great option. It's very thin, very lightweight, easy to blend with, or easy to layer with concealer on top. And it's nice. It's a great, very luxurious feeling product. And I like it. I think it's really nice. And I think the shade Power Nap is a great match for me. If you're around my skin tone, that would be the shade I would recommend. And yeah, I think this is a great new addition to the Sarah Creal line. So this is one of the things I'm most excited about from the video. The Patrick Ta concealer. Okay. I hate to like give super positive reviews of things when I first try them, but I mean, it does look really good on my skin. It really does. I did set it with a little bit of powder, but it looks so nice and smooth on my skin. It doesn't look heavy at all. The coverage is pretty good. If I had to critique it, I would say I wish it had like a little bit more coverage, I guess. But I think the coverage is pretty good if you let it sit on the skin and kind of get tacky and thicken up a bit. And it looked great on my skin as well. It blended in beautifully. Shade Light Peachy Neutral 2 is a great match for my skin tone. If you're around, or if we're shade twins, that shade works great for me. Maybe I'll get Light Rosy 4 and use that in another video as a color corrector or something. But as of now, I mean, I don't have any complaints about the Patrick Ta concealer. I like this a lot. And like I said, I've tried all the new concealers. This one, my first impression is extremely good, extremely positive. So I'll let you know in the description box how it wears and all that. But I'm happy about this. Those two under eye products definitely stand out. The other thing I love is this from Westman. I know I keep talking about it, but it's because I love this so much. I don't have anything like this with this beautiful kind of rosy reddish undertone. And I already knew I liked this formula from Westman. I've been using it for years, but this color, there's just something about it in Toast. If you're around my skin tone, I love that. Love, love, love. Bobbi Brown blush, nice. Anything we haven't seen before? No. Do I feel like you have to try it? No. But is it a nice, really dewy blush formula? Yes. The Huda powder, like I said, I've been testing this for a few weeks. It's fine. I don't know. There's nothing about it where I'm like, oh, that's so good. Like it made an impression on me. It's just like, it's good. But it's not like, oh, you gotta try it good. The eyeshadow sticks from Jones Road, love these. I've been playing with them probably about 2 weeks now. I got these a little bit before they launched. I love these. However, I do, like I said, you have to set them if you want them to last. Unless you have super dry lids, you probably could get away with not doing that. And these would probably work great for you because they're so creamy. But if you have really oily eyelids, you're gonna have to set these because they do move around. They're really creamy, but they're a good like one and done, easy, don't have to work hard kind of eyeshadow stick. Taupe is definitely my favorite. Those Lancome shadows, I gotta keep using these. Not impressed with the packaging at all, like I said. The matte shade is beautiful. It's a very nice, buttery feeling, smooth feeling matte, but I'm not like blown away by these, but I don't think they're bad at this point. The Urban Decay liner, nice. I wish it was a little bit tinier though. I think it would be a little bit more versatile for more eye shapes. The brush and just the point of the liner in general. I do like that it looks like a liquid liner. You can kind of smudge it and work with it because I did a little bit on both my eyes, but I don't know. I gotta keep testing this too and let you know. Not a standout for me, but it's good. Loving the Urban Decay mascara, but that wasn't new. And then the Summer Fridays lip products, like I said, I think they're good. I don't think that they're like, oh my gosh, you've gotta have it. I think the lip stain is my favorite. It is not the most long-lasting lip stain I've ever used though. I do think the Huda ones last a little bit better. My pick of all of them would be Almond. I think this is a really good neutral that would work for a lot of people. So I would probably choose that one over anything. But my standouts are definitely the Patrick Ta Concealer, the Sarah Creal Corrector, and the Westman Face Trace in Toast. So I think that's everything I wanted to share today. Like I said, I will list any wear notes in the description box, so make sure to check there. And I will also link all the products with shades and everything as well in the description box and on the screen in YouTube shopping. If you do shop through my links, it does support me and my channel, so thank you so much for doing that. It really does help me out. And if you're new, I would love for you to subscribe, stick around, and make sure to follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And that is everything for today. I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.